Lu Sheng stretched out his hands, and as a suffocating martial energy emanated from his body, he began to shout, imbuing all his energy into the Star Fate disc. Not long after, the pearls began to emit an intense glow, capable of blinding any powerful warrior. Lu Sheng wasn't finished yet. He concentrated the power of his immortal cells on his forehead, making it begin to glow. His power was increasing so rapidly that his shirt tore into pieces. His energy entered the star disk like a tornado, activating all the pearls. Lu Sheng's attention was fixed on it, and his eyes widened with joy, a surprised smile appearing on his face, for even his clothes had exploded from the pressure, and despite this, the disc still resisted opening. With a gaze full of determination, Lu Sheng placed his foot on the star disk and, as a powerful energy flowed from his foot, he ordered it to keep opening, to open once and for all. Our boy was so strong that his foot began to destroy the Star Fate disc bit by bit. At that moment, the pearl in the center of the disc activated, and a powerful yet strange black energy began to erupt from it. Golden clouds appeared in the sky, and a golden blast of martial energy struck the star disk head-on. It rose into the sky with a roar that shattered the boundaries of the world. Meanwhile, at Count Sia's mansion, far from where the star disk was, it was daytime. Inside the mansion, someone was sitting. They turned on their mobile phone and saw the news circulating about Milton, the piggy killer. This person was none other than Milton, who was sitting on his sofa. Upon reading the news, he couldn't help but get angry, and with a gaze full of rage, he forcefully threw his phone to the ground, smashing it to pieces. Milton turned around, and his eyes widened in surprise and curiosity. From the mansion window, the clouds summoned by the Star Fate disc could be seen. Milton's attention fixed on them, and his eyes widened in confusion. He didn't know what was happening. At the same time, in a private and luxurious residence on some planet, a red-haired woman was sitting on her bed browsing her phone, holding a rabbit-shaped stuffed animal. She opened a messaging app and began to chat silently with her friends. This woman was none other than Qiao Qiao. Her eyes widened with curiosity as something caught her attention. From her room's window, the clouds summoned by the Star Fate disc could also be seen. She turned around, and upon noticing this, she couldn't help but feel somewhat confused and curious, not knowing what was happening. The waves emitted by the Star Fate disc began to spread throughout the entire galaxy. These invisible waves traveled much farther than imaginable, traversing countless light years in the dark and silent vastness of space, regardless of whether it was an advanced and prosperous planet full of a high-level civilization. Not far away on a nearby planet, a woman with elf ears was serving tea to some men who were seated. She felt the waves and turned towards the direction where the star disk was. Even some goblin-like inhabitants could feel the waves. At the same time, on the blue planet, on a quiet day, people began to look up at the sky with surprised expressions. Whether on a backward and wild planet with a primitive civilization or on a remote and uninhabited garden planet, every life form in the entire Yamu region that was traversed by this invisible wave felt a strange vibration resonate in its heart. This brought them a genuine and seemingly reasonless joy that sprang from the depths of their souls. Because of this, people clasped their hands, and their eyes filled with tears of joy. Even those who a moment before were deep in sorrow were, in the next instant, moved to tears. The invisible wave began to expand throughout the entire galaxy. The vast majority didn't understand the reason, but they could clearly feel that this vast starry sky was celebrating, rejoicing, and praising the appearance and birth of a great being. The starry sky sang, and everyone sang along. Witnessing this, the blonde woman was surprised, and her jaw dropped in shock, for she understood that an immortal-level being had just been born. In the Yamu region, an immortal-level bloodline had truly appeared. The eyes of the elder with elf ears filled with surprise, a joyful smile appearing on his face as he confirmed that this was, indeed, of an immortal level. Without wasting any more time, the elder activated his power and gathered momentum. With a gaze full of determination, he took a leap, broke through the spaceship's window, and began to fly towards the area where Lu Sheng was with a smile, as his Yamu region was about to rise again with supreme splendor. The woman's attention fixed on him. She began to watch the elder in silence, not knowing what this old man had in mind. The spaceship was flying very close to the area. At that moment, the pearl in the middle of the Star Fate disc began to unleash martial thunders. As Lu Sheng's energy was expanding throughout the area, Lan Che and his men began to watch attentively, their eyes wide with confusion and curiosity. They didn't know what was happening. As the star destiny disk spun, Mo Yun panicked. He recognized this as supreme power, the core around which the great force of the galaxy had revolved for tens of thousands of years. With an excited smile, he mentioned that he now remembered the ancient warning of the ancient star board. Just before Mo Yun could say another word, Lan Che approached him and, with a serene expression, questioned if this was it. Upon hearing Lan Che's voice, Mo Yun turned around and began to ponder in silence. With a confident smile, Mo Yun extended his hand toward the star disk, revealing that when the legendary immortal bloodline descended, the center of the starboard would ignite a light that would shake the cosmos. An incredible spectacle would appear, and the entire galaxy would celebrate as one. Lan Che began to contemplate the star disk in silence, not fully understanding what was about to happen. With a serious gaze, Mo Yun began to point at our boy, for the warning had been fulfilled. Everything the legend foretold was happening before their very eyes. As thunder erupted from Lu Sheng's body, he clenched his fist tightly and remained silent. Mo Yun exclaimed that he was seeing this legend about him with his own eyes, recognizing that this was an immortal being, a supreme immortal bloodline. Far from feeling excited, Lu Sheng's eyes began to glow with tranquility. He put his hand in his pants pocket and decided to take out his phone. Our boy posed and, with a smile, took a selfie with the star disk in the background. He wanted to have this moment as a memento. After taking the selfie, Lu Sheng decided it was time to send it to someone. First, he opened his chat with Snowy and sent her the photo, mentioning that he had taken it himself and asking if it looked good. In an extremely distant star region, from an advanced spaceship, someone was observing everything that had just happened. Inside the ship was the star throne, and as starlight entered the interior, a man sitting on the throne and wearing knight armor began to awaken slowly. The white-haired man wearing a golden crown awoke, and his eyes began to glow with curiosity and seriousness. He clenched his fist tightly, gazed down, and noticed that another bloodline above the immortal level had appeared. He smiled to himself, as this meant that his Tianxi star system would experience an era of unprecedented glory in this cycle. As a powerful aura emerged from his body, he extended his hand. As his eyes shone with curiosity, his attention fixed on his hand. He concluded that, for now, this didn't matter. Lu Sheng's current level was too low. If he revealed himself at this moment, he ran the risk of perishing prematurely. He closed his eyes and decided to return to sleep, considering it better to let him train and grow for longer down there. Only then would he summon him. At the same time, the warriors began to talk amongst themselves with expressions full of astonishment, frustrated that this monstrous genius who had shaken the firmament had appeared, and they didn't even know his name or identity. The elder clenched his fists and as his eyes shone with determination, began to observe Lu Sheng. He swore to himself that he had to find him. The idea of having him marry his daughter crossed his mind, but no, he would settle for just a single strand of his hair. An evil smile spread across the elder's face, and his eyes widened with malice. He knew that with Lu Sheng's power, his clan would prosper for all eternity. Meanwhile, in the vastness of space, a starship traveled at full speed. Inside, someone was wondering in utter disbelief what kind of monster was responsible for this phenomenon. Inside the spaceship, Lan was sitting with a serene expression, lost in thought. Lan's body began to tremble, and his eyes filled with fear. He knew Lu Sheng was outstanding, but he had never imagined he would go so far as to make the entire firmament celebrate him. In front of Lan stood Lu Sheng, his arms crossed and lost in thought. Lan's attention fixed on our boy, and he admitted to himself that while he knew Lu Sheng was exceptional, he never dreamed it would be to this extent. Lan's eyes widened in terror. This was unheard of. He wondered if he had found the very Son of God from the prophecy. This left poor Lan paralyzed with shock. As Lu Sheng's eyes glowed with tranquility, he slowly began to turn around. Our boy crossed his arms and began to gaze towards the screen, revealing that, in reality, what had just happened was the limit of the star fate disk, but not his own limit. Hearing this, Lan snapped out of his thoughts, his eyes widening in surprise. His jaw dropped. He couldn't believe what Lu Sheng had just said. Thanks for watching Vivify Recaps. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and drop your next recap request in the comments. See you in the next one.